Welcome back. Some of you may just be joining us. We are so thrilled to have you with us. Some of you may have been a part of the fascinating lecture with the leading scholar and conductor, Dr. Joshua Jacobson, and the tremendously moving and thought-provoking discussion with our panelists. We are so fortunate to have you with us, sharing your stories and your struggles and your hopes and dreams with us. May this panel discussion be only the beginning of an important conversation long overdue in our culture. Allow me now to welcome our panelists in their role as creative and talented musicians, allowing now their music to speak louder than words.
Hi, Josh Jacobson here for the Zamir Chorale of Boston, bringing you a little something to lighten up your day. Here's a song from 1938 from a Yiddish film called Mamele, which means Dear Little Mother. The music is by Abe Elstein, a prolific composer of music for both synagogue and theater, and Malik Pekan, perhaps the greatest Actress of Yiddish theater and films, she wrote the lyrics and sang the song in the film. I love the message of the song. Ken men glücklich sein. We can be happy. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, the air is free. The sun shines for everyone. A little joy, a little laughter. There's time to have a drink with friends. You've got your health, you can be happy. Enjoy.
A bissel Sinn, a bissel Regen, a ruhig auf dem Kopf zu legen, a wie gesinnt kann man glücklich sein. A schicha Sorg, a kleiner Ladens in Kirchen, a drei, vier Ladens, a wie gesinnt kann man glücklich sein. Schnäpse machen, wie gesund kann man glücklich sein.
Hello everybody, my name is Wisam Gibran, composer. The piece Orok was composed in 1997 in Berlin. The name Orok means, this is the name of the most ancient city in Iraq. It's related to the Gilgamesh epic. If you know it, Orok was the city, the capital of Gilgamesh. And the word Orok, it's the same like Or Shalim, means light. Or means light. So there is a very funny story related to this piece, which based on Kurdish folk music. At this time in Berlin, 1997, the Kurdish community invited me to play for them a concert. So I wanted to be polite and play something Kurdish for them, and I didn't know anything about Kurdish people and Kurdish music. So I asked an Iraqi friend of me, an Iraqi friend, to help me, and he brought me a very old cassette with the two holes, the old one, without any documentation, I didn't know anything about what this music, who plays, etc., etc. So I just heard the music was very bad player, bad music, bad recording, everything was bad. And but I could find very short fragment, a musical fragment, which I composed the whole piece on it. Yeah. And I was very proud that I have something smell Kurdish to play to this audience. At a concert, when I start to play, that was the premiere, first time I play this piece, I start to play, and poco a poco, like we say in Italian, people start to sing with me. And after few seconds, I understood that I am the only one in the hall who doesn't know this music. So that was a very famous folk song for them, and of course I played just what they sing. I didn't play the composition that I prepared to them. That was the first premiere, and I hope you enjoy the piece. What you hear now in the video is a concert in Milano. Thank you, and have a
There's a great app for iPhone called Acapella. The use of the Acapella app has become very popular during the time of the pandemic among our singing community. What I loved is that for years we have struggled bringing people together. There's always a separation of cultures. Using the app, we have people from all over the world, regardless of nationality or ethnicity, regardless of gender or political views, or even religious views. And we're all united through music. What a powerful thing. I encourage you to try that app. It's called Acapella. Please enjoy these two short examples involving singers from Switzerland, Hawaii, and the United States. The song To Embrace You Once Again was conceived by Rosie Amador and myself for an improvisational class, again using the app Acapella. She came up with these beautiful lyrics about the desire and the yearning of embracing once again. We can't wait to see people and hug and embrace. I still have not met her in person, but using the app and creating together has made us feel that we are together. The song was created in South American kind of feel in 6/8. It sounds kind of from Peru, but also from Argentina. We incorporated the cajon, which she plays, incorporated the harp, the raft drum, and the Native American flute just to give that flavor. But it wasn't really planned. It just happened organically. And this is one of the things that I appreciate of this app, where things don't have to be perfect, but what comes out of the people's heart is fresh and pure. I find myself collaborating with people all over the world, and I would have never ever thought that would happen until the pandemic. So this next piece again is called To Embrace You Once Again, lyrics by Rosie Amador and music by both of us. Enjoy.
Sarayere manenga baringanda, baringanda. I am waiting to embrace once again. Estoy esperando abrazarte otra vez. I am waiting to embrace once again. Estoy esperando abrazarte otra vez. Think of the time, think of the place, think of the time, of the place. Imagina el momento, imagina el lugar, imagina el momento del encuentro. estoy esperando abrazarte otra vez. I am waiting to embrace once again. Estoy esperando abrazarte otra vez. I miss it so deeply. I miss it so much. Lo extraño profundamente. Podremos abrazarnos de nuevo. Imagínalo. Just imagine it. Abrazarnos de nuevo. Imagine it. Abrazarnos de nuevo. The song Que no pare mi canto, Never Stop Singing, was inspired while I took care of a beloved sister that was dying of cancer. Music played an important role in her life, and after her passing, I decided to complete the song that it was exactly when the pandemic was starting. The song is said to be sang a cappella with percussion. The rhythm is called bomba sica, who was originated from slaves when they came to my island, Puerto Rico. I want to thank Ms. Dominique de Silva, the director of the choir. This choir is a GAMP group of children, GAMP school in Philadelphia, 5th and 6th graders. They presented the piece this past January. And I also want to acknowledge Ms. Christina Blankenship and Cameron Stringham, the head of the department. Enjoy.
Life is better when you sing a song, when it comes from your soul. Whether you're feeling happy, whether you're feeling blue. Remember, singing a song from your soul helps your heart to feel full. Let's hear it! Whether you're feeling happy, dum dum dum. Que no pode me que no pode me que no pode me canción. Never ever stop the music. Never ever stop this song.
Yeva, Chaim, Gabai, Gidali, Mira Lifshitz, Natan. Yeva, Chaim, Gabai, Gidali, Mira Lifshitz, Natan. Yeva, Chaim, Gabai, Gidali, Mira Lifshitz, Natan. They call me Eva after my grandma Yeva, who married Chaim. Eve, mother of all living, Chaim, life itself, but the promise of their names they could not believe. How precious little did they live. They call me after my grandma Eve. Yeva, Chaim, Gabai, Gedali, Mira Lifshitz, Natan. They call me Yeva, Chaim, Gabai, Gedali, Mira Lifshitz, Natan. They call me Yeva, Chaim, Gabai, Gedali, Mira Lifshitz, Natan. They call me Natasha after my grandpa Natan. Natan means he gave or a present. Natan could only give me the gift of his name. The war that took his life has begun on the birthday of his only son. They call me after my grandpa Natan. Yeva, Chaim, Gabai, Gedali, Mira Lifshitz, Natan. They call me Yeva, Chaim, Gabai, Gedali, Mira Lifshitz, Natan. They call me Yeva, Chaim, Gabai, Gedali, Mira Lifshitz, Natan. The great and strong one, Gabai, the keeper of Torah, Natan and Miriam, prophets of Israel, Eve, mother of all living, Chaim, life everlasting. We are called after you, and we hear you calling us. Some years ago, I met a gifted writer, Taya Sepinuk, who was creating theater of witness productions with refugees, incarcerated women, and other marginalized groups. She interviewed a group of Russian-speaking Jews, refugees from the former Soviet Union, and had woven their stories together in a series of dialogues and group scenes. And then they were performed by the refugees themselves, according to the framework of the theater of witness. Both my mother and I ended up among the 6 participants, all of us different ages, backgrounds. But we had one common thread, and that was the significance of our names. Most of us knew very little about being Jewish, except that it was a problem and a liability. But our names still carried that connection to our Jewish heritage, sometimes an obvious one and most often hidden. And it was the recitation of these names, something that might feel rather ordinary to you if you grew up in an openly Jewish environment, but to us, to our group, that was radical. It led me to the idea of the song. Not only we were called after our ancestors, but somehow that connection was still alive and vibrating for us. The next song you will hear, also from the same play, was a much more light-hearted but pointed satire, making a bit of fun of the immigrants' most ardent desire to fit in the new homeland and to succeed by any means, opening that proverbial golden window of the opportunity.
We don't talk of the past, let the bygones be bygones. We try not to look back, don't disturb the sleeping dog. We just look straight ahead, try to memorize more idioms. They will open the golden window of the opportunity. We no longer read in Russian, that for newly forming language skills. We are watching TV, much too much, but not enough. We are working on our slang, way cool and simply swell. We are learning that how are you isn't a question after all. I do not speak good English, would you please speak slower? But your English is good, much better than my Russian. Very funny, I've never heard that joke before. Then stop yelling like I'm deaf and hire me for this position. So many things to learn, our cultures are so different. How often do you call your parents? What, you call them every day? If you want to see a friend, call ahead and make an appointment. If you'd like to see a doctor, don't expect to pay the rent. We are so very lucky, all the bad things left behind us, like political corruption, hate, crimes, police violence. We're looking straight ahead, never right, never left, or we'll miss that golden window of the opportunity. We are looking straight ahead, never right, never left, or we'll miss that golden window of the opportunity.
Many years ago, after I wrote the music for this play, I was living a dream. I was building an open and meaningful life as a Jew. I was working as a cantor of a synagogue. I was sharing my love for Jewish music with my beloved community chorus, Shirei Chesed. This verse from the Psalms, She'afta mayim besason mimaynei hayeshuah, they shall draw water in joy from the wells of salvation, set to an energetic, sparkling Israeli melody, would have seemed a fairy tale, an impossible dream to anyone who, like me, grew up in the former Soviet Union. And yet, now it was a reality, and the one I can never take for granted.
There's a man going round taking names. There's a man going round taking names. He done took my mother's name and left my heart in pain. There's a man going round taking names. Oh, death is that man taking names. Oh, death is that man taking names. Well, he done took my father's name and he left my heart in pain. Oh, death is that man taking names.
My heart is truly full. I am so grateful to the myriads of people who have given their time, talent, and endless efforts to put this festival together. First of all, of course, our presenters and performers, without whom this story would never be told. Our festival coordinator and technical wizard extraordinaire, Meredith Klein, you made it all possible, working so hard behind the scenes. We are in your debt. The board of Nashirah, who had such faith in this vision behind the program and supported it with full heart. And last but definitely not least, the Presser Foundation, who generously supported Nashirah's virtual festivals in these challenging times, allowing us not only to survive, but to thrive and dream and create. Thank you. Throughout the centuries, as the Jewish people faced tremendous hardship and persecution, Shabbat, a time of rest and prayer and community, was the only anchor of hope that would look forward to each week. Saturday night then became a precarious time of returning from the warm embrace of Shabbat to a difficult, often dangerous reality. It is not surprising, therefore, that this liminal time of transition and uncertainty gave prominence to the figure of Elijah, the prophet. A towering figure with immense power, he would watch over the Jewish people and visit their Passover seders each year as they relieved their liberation from slavery. Even more importantly, he would be the one heralding an arrival of the Messiah and Messianic age. This melody, intimately familiar to most people in Jewish communities around the world, and masterfully arranged by the Israeli composer Yehezkel Braun, conveys both the tragedy of Jewish past and its ever-present hope for the future. The collage of the pictures of Nashirah's musical adventures past that, thanks to Soyan Ben's extraordinary editing skills, a part of this virtual performance of Eliyahu Hanavi, is but another example of the strength, hope, and inspiration we find in our community and in each other. One of the most successful composers of Weimar Germany, Kurt Weill, and his famous collaborator, Bertolt Brecht, were thus some of the earliest and most obvious targets of Nazi cultural oppression. Even as Weill's operas enjoyed tremendous success, Nazi protests frequently interfered with performances, and the theater directors became even more reluctant to stage his work. In 1933, when Weill learned that he and his wife were officially on the Nazi blacklist and were due to be arrested, they fled, first to Paris and then to America. After a few years of struggle, he finally wrote a few Broadway hits, Lady in the Dark and One Touch of Venus, making a name for himself in the new country. Although he never achieved the sort of fame or influence that he had enjoyed during the Weimar years, during his career in the US, Weill produced important works critiquing US optimism and the American way of life, and tackling such issues as the unequal distribution of wealth, segregation, and the effect of industrialization of families. It was at that point that the cantor of the Park Avenue Synagogue in New York, David Potterman, reached out to Weill among other prominent composers, inviting him to write a new composition for the Jewish liturgy. Surprisingly, it became the only liturgical composition that Kurt Weill wrote, despite his roots as son of a cantor and someone who used to make a living conducting synagogue choirs during the student years. Weaving together the strands of the traditional synagogue intonation with the jazzy and Broadway harmonies that became the hallmark of his style. Weill created an enduring and masterpiece bridging the secular and religious worlds and celebrating the resilience of a creative spirit. Please enjoy the performance of Kurt Weill's Kiddush performed by Nashirah and Singing City.